Hello, hello. How are you today? I'm missing my students. I'm happy that you guys at least get to see me on here. I would love to see you guys. So if you ever want to send me a picture of yourself or a video of yourself, you tell your mom or your dad. You ask your mom or your dad and see if they will send one to me. I would love that. Today I have another story to read about Henry. Do you remember the last Henry story we read where he was babysitting? I think that Henry books are really fun. This one is called Henry's Awful Mistake. What kind of mistake do you think a duck would make? You have to think about that one. What kind of mistake do you think a duck would make? Have you ever made any mistakes? I know I've made some mistakes already. Especially you can make mistakes if you're making a recipe and you put too much of something in it or you put the wrong thing in it. That can be really bad. Like what if you would put in salt instead of sugar? Do you think that would be good if you made cookies with salt instead of sugar? Well, let's see what kind of mistake Henry made. Henry's awful mistake. The day Henry the Duck asked his friend Clara over for supper, he found an ant in the kitchen. Henry was worried what Clara would think if she would see the ant. She might think his house was not clean. The ant had to go. Henry reached for a can of ant spray, but he did not want to spray near the food he was cooking, so he chased the ant with a frying pan. Does he look very happy? Henry ran around the kitchen, chasing after the ant, but the ant got away and hid behind the stove. Henry took the food he was cooking off of the stove. Then he shut off the flame and pulled the stove away from the wall. He saw the ant. The ant saw Henry and ran into a small crack in the wall. Henry went and got a hammer. Henry pounded a big hole in the wall where the crack was, but he couldn't find the ant, so he kept on pounding. Oh boy. The hole got bigger and bigger, and at last Henry saw the ant sitting on a pipe on the wall. Can you find it? You see it all the way up there? What's he gonna do? Henry aimed the hammer at the ant and missed. The blow of the hammer broke the pipe. Water came shooting out of the pipe. Henry couldn't stop it. Henry grabbed a towel. He tied it around the pipe and the water stopped shooting out. Do you think that that's going to solve the problem? But Henry hadn't stopped the water soon enough. It had sprayed all over the kitchen. Everything was soaking wet, except for Clara's supper, thank goodness. Henry began mopping up the puddles of water. All at once he slipped and banged against the kitchen table. Everything came crashing down. Henry was covered with pots and pans and food. Looks like he broke the table too, doesn't it? Oh boy. The supper was ruined. There was nothing Henry could do now but call Clara and tell her not to come. While Henry was talking on the telephone, the towel came loose from the pipe. The water came shooting out and flooded the whole house. Henry was carried right out the front door by the flood. There was no going back. Poor Henry's house was washed away by the flood. He saved what he could and moved into a new house. When Henry was settled into his new house, he again asked Clara over for supper. Just as he went to the door to let Clara in, he saw an ant. What should Henry do? Do you know what he did? It says he looked the other way. So when Henry saw an ant, he decided to not make the same mistake he had made before and chase it with a frying pan and a hammer and ruin his whole house. He decided to just ignore the ant and say, "Oh well, I guess an ant lives in my house now." So this was Henry's awful mistake. And think about, you can think about, what else could have Henry done? What would have you done if you would see an ant at your house? What do you do? All right, this has been story time for today. I will see you again tomorrow, and I'll have another story for you. And you keep on doing your best work. Are you having fun with the videos that you get to watch for your school? I was watching some of them. Mrs. Reese looks like a good teacher. And she's teaching you all the stuff that I would be teaching you if I were at school with you. So I hope that I can be with you soon. See you later. Be good.